July 25th, 2018. I'm lying here after not sleeping because of my neighbors from hell, Enzo Volpe and Alia. Ivan Alia from Mexico, trying to force me out of my house for so long now. It's been 16 years since they built the first one, 14 years. And for the most part, I just ignore them. Go my own way, stay in my little gazebo, work on my laptop when I'm outside, have friends over and stay in the gazebo and ignore their loud music. But this year it's gotten particularly bad. So I have decided to rest today. I've been up all night worrying. Hopefully I will have a little nap and get up later and get some productive stuff done, because they have done countless things over the years, the last 16 years, that make it unbearable, and to try to push me out of here. Their constant yelling and screaming at me, their berating comments, keeping their video cameras on me, and just the area, like they have a 24-hour surveillance. I had the whole neighborhood back me up when they built these houses, because they could tell that the way they built them a few feet away from my property line. And that was at the time when I owned 3 properties, that they were trying to push us out. Tom went very quickly. He just saw the price tag of his house. He saw the extra $100,000 for his little cottage and went and put it to good use, putting his son to school and his adopted son and whatever else. But I decided to stick it out. The kids were happy in their school at the time. I had my rental property. I was looking forward to starting a business. My husband was happy working here, finding good work here, and he's in construction, and we were happy. So we just decided to ignore it. There'd be the odd argument. Enzo would yell over at my husband, and my husband would yell back, "No, you should never have built the houses. They block the view, they destroy the property value," which is why I have a civil court case coming up. They've gone to the extent of puncturing holes in the car. I had video cameras up at the back, and I had a security system up at the back, and I thought that would deter them. They still managed to smash one, got into the gas line, and put a hole in the gas line. The gas on the exhaust could have started a fire while my son was driving the car, and the car could have exploded. It's happened to a friend of mine, where their car just exploded because of a faulty gas line. Other times they've made holes in the bottom of the car, made it so the muffler wasn't attached in the bottom of the car. And keep in mind, this was a new car when they were puncturing holes in the gas line. There was no rust in the bottom of the car. I just didn't have proof. Yes, the police were made aware several times. They'd go to the side of the car that wasn't closest to the house, so nobody could see, and puncture holes in it repeatedly. So for years, I'd get a rest. They'd take a rest a few years. But what their objective is to buy my property and make it their backyard for someone else to be renting the cottage from them. It's not a small cottage, it's a full-size house, so whatever rent they get from it. And they invested well in the stock market, but do very common jobs. One's an accountant. I ran into his uh, office building by chance one day, and it was an old, rickety old one that had, I guess it was the original one. Just by chance, driving through from dropping off my son in his aerospace engineering classes. Um, so me having the brains I do that I gave to the kids, it hasn't been hard to figure things out. My civil lawyer will have all the facts. It's very obvious what they've done throughout the years, and every time they come up, it's like a nightmare. Their guests, there's the two of them, Enzo Volpe and Ivan Elia. Their guests are constantly berating me. They stand on their back porch, they yell, they scream. All these 14, 16 years the first house was built, the 14 years the other monster $1.5 million house was built in front of me. They berated me. They call me names. They're constantly in my face on their back porch when it is within a few feet of my property line. So it feels like when I'm in my backyard or even in the house with the windows open, I can hear them bad mouthing me constantly. So once in a while, I would blow up and say, look, I'm going to call Bylai. I don't want to listen to you at 2 a.m. in the morning yelling at the moon. I only went through on that threat once. I called Bylai once. And it just keeps going on and on. We won't get into the Cuba story again. That is for the ears of my lawyer. But be made very aware of what can happen to you when people... I started up here with 3 properties. I had a rental property, I had a lakefront property, and I have my home I am in now, which we renovated and put a lot of our own sweat and tears into this place to build a family home. But when these people have invested well in the stock market and their wife works at the bank and they're able to get a loan to build a $1.5 million place, they can decide to build back and try to force other people out. That's their mentality. They don't care. They would rather see you dead or just move away so they could have the next property behind them as their peace and quiet, their backyard. These people are vicious. These people have no morals. These people are willing to do anything to get other neighbors to move away. I will just say one thing about Cuba. The first 7 days were paradise. I met some beautiful, amazing people. I had an amazing time. And the last 3 days, I was stuck there because they did give me a transfer slip across the counter for when the bus left, and be it their fault or my fault not retrieving the paper, I missed the flight. I was stuck there and had a horrific experience for 3 days. So, money, don't think that because we're safe living in Canada, this stuff doesn't still happen. You go down to a country where you are exposed to people that will do anything for money, you put yourself at risk. Whether or not they just see an easy person to approach and steal money from, or for the most part, I love Cuba, the bottom of my heart. The first 7 days were beautiful. The people are amazing. They love Canadians. They trust Canadians. Yes, they need to make their money, but they don't hassle them. They're just a wonderful people. And there'll always be some in this world that will take money to do things. And if the dollars are big enough, they're going to do it. I am aware of the 3 parties that did this to me. I am aware of what happened. The police are aware. There were witnesses that came forth. Thank you, God. Thank you to the people that came forth and expressed, because a lot of people saw what was happening. And somebody wants to know if I'm going to Guelph on Saturday. Money stops at nothing. People stop at nothing when they think they can do something to somebody else that's putting up a stand that is there to put up a fight and not give up. Since I stood up for that first little black girl on my playground way back in the 70s when we called blacks blacks, I still call blacks blacks. I love that girl from the bottom of my heart. I felt so bad for her and the way the hillbilly kids in our country school treated her. And I've always stood up for what's right and what's wrong, and I don't care. Now that people are aware of what these people are doing, it will change. I have a lawyer that's proceeding against them. And what they tried to do to destroy me throughout the past 14 years, I say 14 is because the man in front of me that owns the house in front of me is the one that started this. It wasn't really Enzo and his wife Melina. I mean, yes, he had the agenda of chasing us out of our properties, and Tom left very quickly. But it started to get worse with Ivan Elia. So I'll show you a quick picture before I pass out, because I needed to pass out today. I was so upset and scared last night about what's been going on. I did not sleep. So this is the first cottage. This belongs to Enzo Volpe and Melina Volpe. This is the second cottage. These are their cottages. I don't know how many square feet they are. 2 maybe, but it's up, down, it's 3 floors. So this is the back of the cottage. If you saw it from the front, they have their windows along the front. And this is my peaceful little backyard I'm very happy to have. I enjoy living in this neighborhood. There are tons of friendly neighbors. I felt support here. After my husband and I split up, I've made friends in this area, and I refuse to leave. So they're just going to have to deal with that. And my big bad lawyer, had my lawyers all my life. That was one of the, I recommend to anybody to have a good lawyer. Somebody that you feel an amount of trust for, someone that you can bond with, someone that you can joke around and develop a rapport with, so that you have some sense of whether they're a good or bad lawyer. That has been my journey in life, struggling with this. And it has made an existing issue with depression worse when they are here. When they are not here, I put my mind elsewhere. The mind is a very powerful tool, and I focus on other things. For the most part, I love my life. I just don't appreciate these people trying to push me out of a property that I will never leave. Anyway, guys, I love you. I wanted you to know the facts once again. Yes, it got scary in Cuba. Yes, there was a murder attempt. Yes, I know of the 3 parties who were responsible and whoever else was with them. Yes, I know this happened to me, but what exactly was I supposed to tell the police? What? So I'm so grateful and happy that someone else went forward and talked to them finally. Okay? So I love you all. I'm very grateful for my day, and I hope you have a good time. A good day and a good time this summer.